Hey, what's up, gamers? The Scopely devs have released new patch notes. The last patch came out 3 weeks ago, so it's nice to have some new content so quickly. I'm just going to read through it with you guys. We'll look at it together. If I have commentary, I'll kind of throw it in there as I read. And that's about it, so let's jump right in. August 2nd, 2022 update. New event! Dawn of the Troll Slayers. Crimson portals are ripping open across Ardenvale, and a legion of red tusk orcs have emerged, led by the dread troll warlord Rulk the Bone Snapper. It will be up to your noble armies to take to the field and drive these invaders back, but you'll need the help of two mighty new champions, the Troll Slayers Kamsin and Krugar. This week-long event begins August 5th at 12 p.m. UTC and ends August 12th at 12 a.m. UTC. Collect two powerful new champions for a limited time. The unique damage boost these champions provide will aid you in your fight against the Red Tusks. So it looks like there's two new champions. The first is Krugar. He's a rare, and he gives passive infantry specialist, increases the damage this battalion deals, and then passive fiery combat expert increases defense against fire damage. Then a new passive, Red Tusk Slayer. This is a new one. The battalion deals massive damage to Red Tusk enemies. So Red Tusk enemies, I guess, are going to be a new enemy type in the game, and these champions will be extra effective against that specific enemy type if they have the Red Tusk Slayer passive. As for this fiery combat expert, there's some champions in the game that have this passive already. Because there's not really yet fire damage in the game, this is kind of like a teaser saying, hey, fire damage is a mechanic that is going to come out, and we're kind of prepping for it, not only with some of the existing champions in the game that have it, but also adding fire damage kind of attributes to these new champions is just reinforcing that fire damage is going to become relevant down the road. So that's Kruger. He's a rare. And then Kamsin, who is epic quality, has passive archer specialist, increases the damage your archers deal. Active covering fire, deals AoE damage to enemy units and increases the defense of allies near the target. That seems really good. New passive, Red Tusk Slayer. Once again, this will also be a champion that does extra damage to Red Tusks. And what's kind of cool is I just noticed these are both orcs. I think to this point, we've not found any orc champions. So maybe these are like traitorous orcs who have come to help our noble families take the fight back to their own brethren. Maybe they were banished or exiled and have joined forces with us to take out their very own brethren, and I guess that's why they deal so much extra damage to their own orc fellows is they know their strategies. They've been there, they know how to penetrate, they know the weaknesses, and you can take their knowledge and add it to your own army to use it against the orcs from which they came. That's just me kind of role-playing and speculating, but kind of cool. Non-human champions here. So it goes on, battle a new PvE enemy only while this event lasts. Rulk the Bone Snapper's Red Tusk Orcs. Thank you, Scopely, for some more PvE content. I love the PvE content in this game. It's actually some of my favorite. The new PvE content will only be available to higher levels, though. It's saying here, Red Tusk outposts will appear in counties level 8 and higher, and will include dangerous new trolls in their armies. So new players don't need to get overwhelmed by some new event. This is going to be really more for the people who've played the game and gotten past Keep 8. Complete and compete in milestone and leaderboard events every day of the event to earn Troll Slayer tokens, Kamsin and Kruger shards, and other enticing rewards. Use your Troll Slayer tokens to crack open limited time Troll Slayer packs that have a higher chance to grant Kruger and Kamsin shards while the event lasts. Red Tusk will return, so don't miss your chance to recruit Kruger and Kamsin now. So what this means to me is there's going to be on the rewards track some Kamsin and Kruger shards that you'll get as flat bonuses for reaching those progression points. And then it sounds like these Troll Slayer tokens will be used to kind of open a gacha or a box that may or may not contain Kamsin or Kruger shards. or may contain varying amounts of them. And then finally, it's saying that passive ability that does extra damage just to the Red Tusk Orcs will remain relevant in the future because that enemy type of Red Tusks is going to return to the game. Next up is just some general updates that they made here. So you are now correctly warned of morale loss when reinforcing versus lower level players. Global chat is now always pinned at the top of the chat list. Sure, why not? Added noble merits to small dungeons. So this one, I know for sure that Rebel, who works for the dev team, she's part of the community management team, and she has said that this is going to be expounded on. So when it is expounded on, I'll come back and make a comment on this video because no one's quite sure what they mean when they say added noble merits to small dungeons. This one right here, I'll also come back and comment about. I know that they just made a change to morale loss and how it works when you are reinforcing your ally on defense. I think the way it now works is that when you reinforce your ally on defense, instead of taking a morale penalty against whoever attacked your ally on defense, you now take a morale penalty against the highest level of their reinforcements. So like if a level 10 attacks your buddy and you want to reinforce your buddy, and then that level 10 gets reinforced by a level like 30, you are going to take a morale bonus based on the level 30, a morale debuff based on the level 30 reinforcement, not based on the level 10 that began the offensive. This might be related to that. If it's something different, I'll make a note of it in the comments later once they've added some more details. New champions, more new champions. Okay, so these champions can be recruited from bronze and silver champion packs starting August 3rd. Well, right now, because it's 12 a.m. as I record this, so these champions can now be recruited. So the first two champions are going to come from the rewards track, the orcs that we reviewed. These are all champions that are getting added to the general pool, and we'll be able to recruit them anytime we're opening the bronze and silver, but not gold. It doesn't say gold, so only from the bronze and silver champion packs. So common champions, we've got Varessa, passive frozen combat expert, increased defense against cold damage. Just like fire damage, cold damage is not in the game yet. This is a foreshadowing of something to come. She's got an active ability called Sprint that increases the battalion's speed. Sorel is a combat expert, increases defense against normal damage, and has an active ability, Counterstrike, that deals damage to an enemy and increases this battalion's defense. I love these active abilities for a common champion. That seems very strong. Winowen he's got passive combat expert, increases defense against normal damage, active hamstring strike, deals damage to an enemy and reduces their movement speed. For me personally, I'd take Counter-Strike over Hamstring Strike. I just think that, what can I say? I love altering DPS. I love damage. Movement speed is less exciting to me. I'm sure it's got its uses. I could see Hamstring being useful in like a lure situation where you're trying to make a timing window where you're rushing the enemy keep and you want the reinforcements to just take as long as possible to get to your timing attack when you're rushing the enemy keep. Darvish is passive fiery combat expert, increases defense against fire damage. Active whirlwind strike deals AoE damage to adjacent enemies. Not bad, but AoE damage for a melee, I'm much more of a fan of AoE for ranged champions. I'll talk about that in another video. Soren is passive frozen combat expert. Again, increases defense against cold damage. Active flanking maneuver deals damage to an enemy and increases this battalion's movement speed. I like this. Movement speed on the offensive plus DPS. That is great for taking out an enemy and then continuing on to rush the keep. That's a great active ability. Wallace, passive fiery combat expert, Active, hold the line, greatly increases the defense of this battalion. Not great for offensive, but good for defensive. Maybe someone that you'd want to reinforce with. And then uncommon champions. We have Arana. Passive, swordsman specialist. Increases swordsman's damage, and active, brilliant strategy. Greatly increases the defense of this battalion. Again, another defensive champion. Hawthorne, passive, archer commander. Increases archer's health. Active, disengage maneuver, deals damage to an enemy, and greatly increases this battalion's movement speed. Terrific. We love that. Arga, passive, cavalry commander, increases this troop's health. So cavalry gets increased health. Active, crippling maneuver, confuses enemies at a distance, greatly slowing their movement speed. Kind of meh, in my opinion. Increased health and movement speed. I mean, it's just a very defensive champion. So again, probably one that you'd want to slow down an enemy offensive with when you are defending. And that is it. So it looks like we just have these uncommon and common champions. And that is the end of the patch notes. So I know I owe you guys some extra intel here once we get some more information about these general comments. But with that, I think that concludes the patch note review. So I'd like to say cheers, and remember to stay hydrated and game like you give a damn.